At first, I was originally working on a different YouTube video highlighting the greed of the video game slash entertainment industry. And like my depressing life, that idea slowly started going downhill and I ended up not committing to the video. Doesn't matter, I'm just casting out a bottle of thoughts out into a vast empty sea where no one will hear it or talk to me, just like in real life. But this game happened. As someone who slowly watched my favorite video game franchises slowly descend into a dark, bottomless pit, and right with those franchises is watching the depressing state of video games and their greedy monetization practices over the last few years. When I tell you, this game is such a refreshing breath of fresh air. It's like when you're in wintertime and your mom just took out the laundry and it smells so good, so fresh, so clean, but on top of that, not only does it smell so fresh you can't stop stuffing the clothes up your nostrils, it's also perfectly warm against your skin, and for a moment your entire life feels okay, and those dark, deep thoughts will never harm you. That, ladies and gentlemen, is how this game makes me feel. Man, oh man. Like, honestly, I was going into it not expecting anything at all, and based off of the few trailers I saw and the bits of gameplay here and there, I wasn't particularly enthusiastic about the game, as it looked like more of what the first game had to offer, bruh. Which, disclaimer, before anyone gets triggered, it isn't a bad thing. I actually really enjoyed the first game and what it had to offer. I played Ghost of Tsushima twice, once in English and once in Japanese, and I really thought that that was as good as it was going to get with the canvas they painted and what they were trying to make you envision. So, yeah, disclaimer has been disclaimed. Ghost of Yote takes everything in the first game, puts its finger on that dial, and cranks that all the way up to 100, and everything that just landed. You don't know what the fuck is going on, but you're here for the right at the new time. The world is saturated in an exaggerated manner at times, filled with sound and life as you traverse through the environment. Each section of Ezo is so diverse in its color palette and lighting that I kept finding myself getting distracted by the sheer beauty of the visuals. From the beautiful skyboxes, vast nature, wild horses following alongside you as you head towards your next destination. Actually, wait. I just realized as I'm writing the script, why did they take out the best feature that was in the first game? Bro, where Jin Sakai would ride his horse through the tall grass and he'd randomly at times lower himself to brush his hand against the grass. Bro, whenever he did that, it would itch a part of my brain. In my entire playthrough of Yote, Atsu never did that. Bruh. Never mind. This game is trash. Video's over. Throughout my time with this game, I kept getting distracted, and it was too distracting even, in the best way possible. When NPCs that don't even seem interactable call out to you and tell you about a bamboo stand nearby or a fox shrine, or other NPCs that you come across as you're riding around Ezo asking you for help, what seemed like a story-focused playthrough quickly turned into pouring hours and hours into this game. Instead of being Ellie and being on demon time hunting down every single one of the wolves that killed your parents, in this game, I found myself becoming friends with the wolf. Now, without spoilers, there were even comedic moments in there, and while my TikTok brain rot humor exists and my brain is just completely fried, The fact that Sucker Punch still managed to make me laugh out loud in this game. That's how you know it's game of the year. That's how you know it's game of the year. Not the graphics or the insanely fast 2-second loading time from the moment you press X on the game when you're in, or the smooth gameplay or the detailed dialogue or mission or story. It's the humor. It's the humor. Comedic game of the year. I found myself drawing a lot of comparisons to The Last of Us, and before you say anything, I will die on this hill when it comes to two franchises. Last of Us and the Batman Arkham games. Shh, we don't talk about you. It was very reminiscent to Last of Us in a good way. The sounds in this game became very iconic for me very quickly on in the game, to the point where I was straight up humming Mother's theme. Oh god, not to mention the guitar riff whenever you went up against one of the Yote 6 or Saito's gooners. It was just euphoria in my ear. The sound design really helped push the immersion, and this game overall really strived to be as cinematic as possible, even when you were just AFK and idle on top of a mountain somewhere. This is Sucker Punch's best work yet, in my opinion, and it's the closest thing to a masterpiece for the kind of game that it is. But as all things human, there's no such thing as perfect.
He ate with that one. He ate with that one.
As cinematic as it was, I feel like before you pull out the pitchforks and go crazy and...
No, there's no justice like angry mob justice.
I feel like it was so cinematic to the point where at times there was plot pacing issues, just in my opinion. Now it could just be me and my dopamine fried receptors, but it did feel like there was plot pacing issues. Sometimes a thing that they were trying to do without, spoiling anything, sometimes it felt like something that they were doing stretched on a bit longer than I wanted it to, for the sake of justifying or explaining one thing. And some of the story was even predictable. And the ending, dare I say, even felt rushed. It's like the game spent all this time hyping up the ending, but it went exactly how I thought it would, which was frustrating to a degree and had me question if what happens is justifiable or not. But I also understand the other side of why the ending happened or ended the way that it did. This is in regards to a certain character. That's all I'm gonna say. If you played the game, you know exactly which character I'm talking about. I just saw it coming, and it was just predictable. But, I understand why it had to happen. I like that. I mean, it kind of picked at my brain a little, and I was like, okay, alright, they did what I thought they were going to do, which, all the power to them. I didn't mind it. But it felt like the safe way to go on about it. Other than that, I didn't really have any complaints. Side missions were way more engaging this time around. There was a lot more detail, and I didn't find myself wanting to skip every single cutscene like I would do with other story games that I play. And I'm not going to mention any because I don't want to get hurt. In terms of gameplay, I wish I was climbing just a tiny bit faster. That's just like my only nitpick with the gameplay in general. Those damn rocks where they're slightly painted for you. By the way, 2025, we still have that. Those rocks were like the bane of my existence, because there'd be times where coming from playing like Assassin's Creed or like Uncharted or something that has to do with climbing, I kept finding myself wanting to press X just to climb a little faster, but I couldn't. And the game would do this weird, awkward thing where it would force you to like wait a couple seconds and then tell you, no, you gotta climb this the old-fashioned way. Which, you know, like, okay, I get it. You want me to take things slow, and that's another thing like about this game is like it like makes you take things slow, and 99.9% of the time it really helps push that immersion, and it does wonders. Also, this game is peak because it has cooking in it. I know other video games have cooking in it, but it was just so satisfying, especially when the screen would just go black and all you'd hear is
Good morning, Vietnam!
you know she eating that good, dry, unseasoned mushroom and it's hidden. Now, even though it's 2025 and they still had motion controls in a video game, it wasn't too bad, and they never forced it or anything. I feel like they pulled it off pretty good. You know, when you're hitting the hot metal rod, forging your own sword, I have felt like a blacksmith with a 2-foot beard and hairy chest, a grizzly bear of a man, making my own sword to go fight the gooners, and it was just like it felt very masculine. Now you could argue like, go touch grass, go outside, go play Minecraft in real life, and you could feel masculine that way. But we're talking, you're watching a game review here. You know, you wanna be masculine that way. Why are you watching this video? Go hit the gym or something. I don't know what you want me to say. But other than that, this game was really solid. I had little to no complaints, honestly, from all the different story games I've played growing up. This is definitely up there for me with the others, like God of War, the Arkham series, every single one, even the stepchild that is neglected, that is Arkham Origins. I love you. You know, amongst so much, there's so many good games out there. I can sit here and you could watch this video and hope that I'll name your favorite video game just for you to be like, yes, he mentioned that game. But that's the beauty of it. We all have our games that we love to play, that we love to go back and visit to and die on a hill defending it, even with its certain shortcomings. But honestly, with this game, all in all, I didn't really find a lot to complain about. It just made me want more. Sucker Punch, give us that DLC. Another thing I could say is I really see this becoming the new Assassin's Creed. Now, before you're like, oh, Assassin's Creed, the prime of Assassin's Creed, sadly, now you look at it and it's just like, whatever they got going on over there. Sucker Punch has found their sweet spot. They have perfected their ghost recipe with this game. They did so many right things with the first one, and this game just flushed out everything. And I feel like it could just be another Assassin's Creed, where they just further dive into the series and just continue to do what they did with Yote compared to Tsushima, where it's like its own story and it's not a sequel or anything. They did have certain references, wink wink, to the first game, but they never like they're not connected in any way. They just happen to both be in Japan. But I could see it being like an Assassin's Creed in the sense of like where they have like Ghost of Egypt or like Ghost of, you know, like Vikings or something, or maybe like the Middle East or something. I feel like that would be really cool. I feel like if they explored different time periods with their ghost recipe and implemented weapons and characters or stories of that period, the same way they kind of like smoothly brought in Takuzo the Unrivaled, I feel it's kind of clean. I'm not gonna lie. If I had to rate this game, 5 being mid, 0 being the worst game I've ever played. It would be in the low 9s for me, like 9 point. I was going to say 9.4 out of 10, but after realizing that you can't touch the tall grass when you're riding in a horse, this is going to have to be 6 out of 10.